Hi guys. Hey booktubers, welcome back to my channel. Wendy here. So today we're going to do a couple of fun things. I did tell you guys that I would sprinkle in a few surprises. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a book tag and following with our April book tags. Only a couple of weeks left, so I thought we would do that. I did find this one online. It's a long book tag. I shaved it down a little bit. So I apologize for whoever made it up, but some of it didn't pertain to me at all. Like I wouldn't have added anything if I answered the questions. But the book tag is 50 questions, so it's rather long. But it is by My Little Book blog by Lizzie Baldwin. So it's by her. So check out her website. It looks very interesting, by the way. And I'm going to just get right into the questions. So what was the last book you read? The last book I read was this one, and I'm going to review it at the end of the week, The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walter. So that's the book I'm reading now. I'm just about done with it. I should be done with it by tonight. Was it a good one? So far it is. What made it good? So far I could tell you the characters make it good. Would you recommend it to other people? Number 4. So far, yes, I would. Unless the last couple of chapters really suck, I would recommend it to other people. Okay, what made you dislike it? So far, I don't. If I do, I will put that in my review. Do you wish to be a writer? I used to when I was younger. I remember, and I'll tell you this quick story because you know I go off on tangents sometimes and forget about what we're doing here, but when I was in 6th grade, we had to write a story about our life as a certain object. I picked a piggy bank. I don't know why, but I put mine was titled "My Life as a Piggy Bank," and I remember the class stood up and applauded after I read it out loud, and I was so thrilled. I was like, "Oh my God, that's it! I could be a writer," I had an interest in writing when I was younger, but if I was ever going to write a book, which I don't see me doing, but who knows, because now that I'm doing this channel, guys, and I feel when you do anything creative, sometimes you get other creative juices flowing. And I used to always want to write children's books. So who knows? Maybe for my grandchildren, I will have written a book by then. But I don't take it off the table. Like I said, not like I'm going to be like a Mitch Albom type of writer, but children's books, who knows? I might write one day. Okay. Has any book influenced you greatly? Yes. And you guys know which one I'm going to say. I mean, there's been many, but the one that comes to mind, the one I love that I did a whole book review on here, and I talk about a lot, is What Zizi Gave Honey Boy. And why it influenced me so much is that I think it's a basis for a good life. It teaches you what's important in life and to really listen to people that came before you, your grandmothers, your great grandmothers. These people are gifts in your life, and we don't always appreciate them until they're gone. And I really am trying to, even more so in my life, put more of an emphasis on that, because we're all going to die one day. But you know what? While we're here, we should really try our best to be present and really listen to these people that have lived so much life before us and experienced so much. You know, we tend to disregard them sometimes, or just tired of hearing their stories. But listen to their stories and really take an interest, because giving them your time is a gift to them, and it's a gift to you. So I'm not going to go on and on, because you know I can, but I'm going to just say that's how that book has influenced me. It's taught me to listen and try to be more present. Okay, what's your least favorite genre? My least favorite genre is romance books, and I'm sorry if a lot of you guys like romance books out there, or if any of you are romance writers, I apologize. It's not that I hate romance books, it's just that I used to read them a lot in high school, you know, when you're younger, the Harlequin books and stuff like that. And you know, I just don't, I wasn't my interest as you get older. Some people do, and that's cool, and that's fine, but it's not my interest. It stopped being my interest. So I never read any romance books. As a matter of fact, I do my best to stay away from any book that's a romance book, because it just does not interest me. But if there's some interest, if there's some romance in a book I'm reading, I'm fine with that. But it's my least favorite genre, I'd have to say. When did you learn to read? I would have to probably say in first grade when I was 6, but I really got into reading when I was like 9. I remember reading chapter books. So that's the answer to that question. What's your favorite book you had to read in school? Okay, so you guys know that everybody hates reading the books they give them in school. But I I wasn't one of them. I mean, it depends. There was some I didn't like, and I probably, because of the teacher that was presenting the books and how they told the story of the book, if it wasn't engaging, then it turned me off. But my 2 favorite books was Of Mice and Men and To Kill a Mockingbird, and I haven't read them in a very long time, and I'm going to reread them again. Love those books. So yeah, those were like the 2 favorites that come to mind. Favorite book series? I don't like reading book series. I never do. But if I had to, I will tell you that it probably would have been Harry Potter, because I love the movies. So I love wizards and stuff like that. A little bit of magic sprinkled in my books. Favorite author? Okay. You guys know what I'm going to say here. I have other favorite authors, but you know that my man Mitch Albom is my favorite by far. Not just because he's such a good writer and I love his books, but the person that he is and the humanitarian that he is, and I can go on and on. Just did a book author spotlight on him, and I just love him. So I hope to meet him one day. Oh my God, I would love to meet him. And just, talk to him for like 5 minutes. That would be a dream, because he is just so wonderful and such a good human being all around. That okay, so yeah, that would be my favorite author right off the top of my head, but there are others. Favorite genre? Memoirs. You guys know I've spoken about that many times on here. Memoirs is like my top favorite. Has a book ever transported you somewhere else? All the time. Books transport me all the time, and that's what they're meant to do. Books are meant to transport you to different times and different places, and that's what they're meant to do. So all the time, unless the book really sucks, then I have to say no. But 9 times out of 10, I always feel transported somewhere else. Which book do you wish had a sequel? Don't like sequels. One of the few books that I wish had a sequel was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, and it actually did, when it followed up with The Next Person You Meet in Heaven. So yeah, that would be one of the few books. And it's Mitch Albom book too. Okay. How long does it take you to read a book? It depends. I mean, I'm a quick reader, so I mean, if I love a book, I could read it in a day if it's not like, tremendously long. Mitch Albom books, that's another thing I love about them. You can read them in a couple of hours. And so yeah, I'd say probably a week, because, the whole work thing and everything gets in the way. But yeah, it would probably take me a good solid week. Do you like when books become movies? Depends on the book, but I generally don't. I find that they never really, they don't follow the book. The book always has more details and is always better than the book, the movie 9 times out of 10. For instance, one of the movies, Tuesdays with Maury, I just watched it yesterday with my mom because I was telling her so much about the book, because I know the type of movies that she likes and books, and we watched it together. I watched it again. She never saw it, and there was things in the movie that were not in the book, but I realized his books are very short, so I understand that the purpose of it, that they have to fill in sometimes, but sometimes they don't, and it screws up the whole thing. So yeah, I generally don't like to watch books that were made into movies. Okay, what book was ruined by movie adaptation? There's been a lot, and that's all I'm gonna say. Which movie has done a book justice? Of Mice and Men was an excellent movie. To Kill a Mockingbird was an excellent movie. Those are just a few. I mentioned those before, but yeah, they were great movies, I thought. Do you read newspapers? I do not. I do not read newspapers. I find that I know I can find out online pretty much what's going on in the world. I don't wish to read about how bad everything is or not. I don't like newspapers. So I feel like bad news is brought to your doorstep, and not that you're digging your head in the sand, but I find that, I know what's going on. I can read about it online. I don't need to see it in print. So, in like physically. Do you read magazines? I do not. I don't read magazines, really ever. Do you read in bed? Absolutely. We spoke about that on this channel. I love reading in bed. I do it every night. Do you read in the car? I know some people can do this, and I always found it to be amazing, but I get sick when I read in the car most of the time. I could probably read a little bit, like if I had to read something quick in the car, but like a text message or something. But I do not like reading in the car. Overall, I think most people get sick in the car. It's just, and there's a whole explanation for why that happens, something to do with your inner ear and your eyes, and I don't know what that is, but I can tell you that I don't read in the car, Jen. No. If it's not moving, yes, but not when it's moving. Okay, do you read in the bath? Okay, now we're getting personal. Yes, I do read in the bath. Sometimes I do. I have to get one of those things, those like tray things, but I sometimes I do. I don't really do it often because I feel like if, my book could get wet or something, and I just like, I don't know, you're in water, books, paper and water, I don't know. But I do sometimes, but I would have to get, I think, one of those trays things that, you could put things, books, whatever. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my Earl Grey tea today, guys. That is the tea. And look at my mug. Wait a minute. So, yeah, this mug I got in Home Goods, I think. And I know you can't see it because it's liquid, but it's uneven. So I love that about it. And it's got a gold handle, and it's just so pretty and quaint. And I love stuff like this. I think I told you guys. So, yeah. That is what I am drinking while we're doing this episode. Are you a fast reader? I am a fast reader. Absolutely. Favorite place to read? I think we spoke about this too once before on one of my tags. But favorite place to read is any place comfortable and quiet. I don't like noise around me when I'm reading. I'm not one of those people who could just, yeah, sometimes you're so engrossed, but I don't want to hear noise while I'm reading. Generally, I just don't. Is it hard for you to concentrate while you read? If there's noise, yeah. So, but generally, no. Do you need a room to be silent when you read? Yes, I actually do. Who gave you your love for reading? I think I spoke about this before on here, but my dad, who passed about over 10 years ago, back in 2008, he gave me my love for reading. Absolutely. He was an avid reader. He was well read. Absolutely. He knew so many things about so many subjects because of reading. Very super intelligent, and reading was the reason why. So my mom used to read too when she was younger. She said she used to get in trouble. Like my grandmother would come in and she'd be reading under the covers after she shut the light. But she said she used to love reading for a long time too. So from both of them, but my dad especially was just a very avid reader. So yeah, he'd be the person. What book is next on your list to read? My book that I'm reading next, because I said I did want to read, I consider this a classic, but I am reading this next because I'm trying to read one classic a month, but it's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. That's my next one. So I would like to, I'm definitely going to read that one next. I don't remember seeing the whole movie, which is good because, not that I wouldn't read the books after seeing the movie, but yeah, I know that the movie, from what I remember of what I saw of it, which was most of it, was a really good movie. So I'm excited to read that book. That's the next one. Let's see. When did you start to read chapter books? Like I said, 4th grade was when I started reading chapter books, I believe, from what I remember. Who is your favorite children's book author? 2 that come to mind, Judy Blume for sure. I had all her books. My daughter read her books. I thought she was fantastic. I thought that the subjects that she wrote about were so identifiable to children, teenagers. Especially Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was awesome book. I got that one for my daughter as well. So yeah, Eric Carle, I love. I have The Very Hungry Caterpillar, a couple of his books, and I love his writing as well. Margaret Weiss Brown is another one. Goodnight Moon. So yeah, there's many of them. Which author would you most like to interview? Really? You guys already know the answer to this question. So I really don't even probably have to answer that. But I will. M.A. Mitch Albom. You guys know who I'm going to say. That would be a dream to interview him. 5 minutes in the same room with him would be a dream. I just love him. He's just such a great humanitarian, such a great human being, and really goes above and beyond in his charity work and is so humble about it. I mean, there's so much about him people don't know recently that I've learned too, but he is just wonderful. And yeah, he would definitely be the person that I would love to interview. Which author? So Mitch, if you're listening, let's do this. Okay. Which author do you think you'd be friends with? Okay. So yeah. Which book have you reread the most? The one that comes to mind, guys, What Zizi Gave Honey Boy. There are many that I've reread, but I have to say I probably have reread that the most out of many books. But there are many that I reread, but again, that's like one of my favorites. And it's one of those easy books to reread that you just like, it's an easy book to read. And it's because it's so relatable too in a lot of ways. Which books do you consider classics? A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, A Christmas Carol, The Great Gatsby. I mean, the list goes on and on. Jane Eyre. There's so many of them, and so many I haven't read. Like I said, I'm trying to read one a month, a classic. It's so hard to get to everything you want to read. I don't think we ever do get it done, but obviously you have to work and you try to fit reading in as much as you can. But there's never enough hours in the day, excuse me, guys, to do everything. So, but I always push reading in there. I always get reading time every day. So that's like one of my priorities. Which books do you think should be taught in every school? I think books that are relatable, books that kids can identify with. I think some of the books that they do ask kids to read, not that they're not good books. I think the teacher has a lot to do with that. Excuse me, but books that engage kids, maybe books that are about kids and pertain to the age that they're in. That's the books about life lessons. Again, that goes back with When Zizi Gave Honey Boy, What Zizi Gave Honey Boy. That one I think should be read in school because I think it really has life lessons in it. And really, even though at that age, kids just don't, none of us did. And I talked about that in one of my other videos too. We don't appreciate the elderly and our seniors like we should. And I'm very big on that because of my grandmother. I don't like, disrespect. It drives me insane. I just flip when that's done. Any disrespect or dishonoring of seniors. I think kids should learn that in school, and that book really gives you a good example of family and values, and that's a book I think should be read in school. So it's like that really gives kids something to ponder, something to think about, and also pertaining to their age in some way, because it's hard to put yourself in someone's shoes that's elderly or somebody who's so different from you when you're that age. So maybe a balance is what I'm saying, but I still think that one should be read in school. So, what else? What books which books should be banned from all schools? I don't think any book should be banned from schools, but like I said, a balance would be good. So that is it. That is the book tag. Like I said, I shaved it down a little bit, but I think that is delightful book tag. So thank you, Lizzie Baldwin. And as my next little surprise to end this off, I do have children's books, some of my favorites. Speaking of children's books, I thought I took some out. I have like so many of my favorites put away, but I wanted to share a few with you that are my favorites and one of my children's favorites. Of course, this one I think everyone has is Goodnight Moon by Margaret Weiss Brown. Mama, Do You Love Me was a big favorite, and that is by Barbara M. Jossi. Great illustrations, beautiful illustrations in this book. Really lovely. The Tale of Peter Rabbit, especially this time of the year, we always read this one. And that is by, of course, Beatrix Potter. So that's that one. This one was a big favorite. Again, Laura Numeroff, If You Give a Pig a Pancake. And also When You Give a Moose a Muffin, we have that one. When You Give a Mouse a Cookie, we have that one. And really just so cute, the illustrations in this book. I'm sure a lot of you guys have this book. Curious George, another favorite. That is by H.A. Ray. Eric Carle, again, Very Hungry Caterpillar, big favorite with my kids. I love Eric Carle's illustrations. They are absolutely gorgeous. And that's that one. And then this one was a favorite too, A Bad Case of the Stripes by David Shannon. Was a really cute one too. So, and great illustrations as well. So yeah, so in keeping with that, I am going to read Goodnight Moon for you guys because I love the book so much, and it's a short one. So here we go. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of a cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, and 2 kittens and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house and a young mouse, and a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, moon, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Ah, I just love this book. Look at that. I just love the illustrations. They're so cozy. Ah, I love books, and I love my children's books. And these I am going to keep, of course, but I'm going to keep them for my grandchildren one day. And they will be read to. I'm just letting my children know. They will be read to. And they will have books. I hope to instill a great love of reading in them. That is my wish. So that is another wrap, guys. Another wrap for Book It with Wendy. Thank you so much for spending time with me and listening to me and my little tangents that I go off on. I can't help it. When I'm passionate about certain things, I just go off. But you guys know me by now. That's it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful rest of their weekend. And week. I will see you guys back again on Friday, so don't forget, another video drops Monday and Friday. Hit that like and subscribe button. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome. I am amazed, like I said, and so happy when I see that you guys like the content that I'm putting out. Like I said, it forces me to be creative in a way I have never had before, and I so enjoy it. So please keep doing that. Keep tuning in. We'll keep having more surprises. And that's it. So have a wonderful week. I'll see you guys next time on Book It with Wendy, and I'll see you later.